All right, so we are out here working on the SV again today. Got it kind of partially torn down in the background here. We are going to be making some custom throttle cables. Let me show you the issue that we've got here. So, as you can see, we got a fair amount of slack, even at full tilt. Quite a bit sticks out. I'm going to run this under, and then we're going to try to get it to run tight against this. These plugs are all going to be moved. It's going to rub against those for now, but those are all going to find a different place to live very soon. That is in a future video. But for now, we're going to do this. We'll pull this off. We've got to pull the throttle bodies off. It's just much easier to get to everything. The forums will tell you that if you have like very long skinny fingers with an extra joint, you can get in there and do it without taking these off, but it's really just easier to get on there and pop those off. It takes, 4 more minutes and it saves you hours of frustration. Don't ask me how I know. But we're gonna take these cables out, and then we're gonna measure to see how much we need to cut off of the other ones. And then I've got some little screw-on cable ends that we'll put on there. Once we know everything works, we'll get them on there with some red Loctite, so that way it doesn't go anywhere. All right, so we are mid-throw of dealing with this. We got the throttle off, we got the cables off, we have the throttle bodies pulled. We have the throttle cables disconnected from the throttle bodies. I went ahead and ran these in here to see how long it needed to be. I measured it with full clock to the right, and this is where it hit the bracket on there. But we've got a little bit of this, so I took the other one of these and held up here. And this is where we need to cut these. We will then measure how much of this cable we need hanging out of this end, and then I've got some screw-on cable ends. Like I said, we'll get it in there. We're gonna have to put it together and take it apart a couple of times because the cable ends that I have are screw-on, and I want them to not rattle loose in this Vibey V-twin bike. So we'll get it in there, make sure it works, and we'll take it out and red Loctite those. But yeah, that's where we're at. So let's get these cut. Let's get them run in there, and let's make sure everything else is gonna be working like we want it to. Okay, so we have got the new ones cut to length. We've got the cable ends on, and we've got these cut with a little extra. So now we're going to try to line up these screw-on cable ends. We're trying to line these up on here to roughly the same spot. I have, they've got the screws for some adjustment here to pull up some extra play, so I think we'll be okay for some adjustment as long as we're somewhere in the ballpark. But we're going to get those, and we'll get them snaked in there and see if we can get it hooked up to the throttle bodies and working like it's supposed to. Wish me luck. Okay, here we are set. So we got new ones. As you can see, they're about 3 inches shorter. I needed stock plus 1 inch, I think, versus the stock plus 4 inch. At any rate, we got the cable ends screwed on here, roughly the same output. Let's throw them in there, see if we can get them hooked up in the throttle bodies. Hopefully these little screws don't catch on anything in there, or make it more challenging than it needs to be to get these in there. So let's cuss up my bike some more. Okay, so much wailing and gnashing of teeth later, as you can see, we removed the tank. We got new throttle cables on. They are perilously close to long enough. Realistically, I think they could work, but they don't quite let me open to full throttle. They're slow to close. They don't close all the way, and then when I do pull them all the way open, they stick. So these are not going to work. We made an attempt. They're pretty loose, but they're slow to return. Tried adjusting the cable adjusters a bit to try to see if I can make it a little less sticky, but I just cut them too short. Totally on me. The Motion Pro doesn't make custom ones anymore, so we're gonna figure out a solution. For now, I think I'm just gonna put the plus 4 inch ones on.
1 eternity later.
Okay, take 2. So I don't think I recorded. I was kind of frustrated. The cables that I tried to make, I made about a 1/2 inch too short, so they pulled really tight here and bound. As you can see, these ones are okay. I put the 4-inch ones back on there, the +4, and then went for a good long ride because I hadn't ridden it in a while. And everything was rocking, working really well, except the speedometer's having issues. I'll address that in a different VJO. But what I decided to do was go ahead and order another set of these Vstrom cables. So I ordered these new on eBay. Were about 20 bucks, and cut them off again down to the right length. And they work great. That's as short as I can get them, which is great. I wanted to route them under here, but it didn't work out that way, which is okay. Yeah, so one thing I did find was that when I had to zip tie this here so they didn't fall down. If they fall down across here, then it's too tight, and these bind. The throttle binds, but if it's there, it's okay. And if I just throw a loose zip tie on there, it keeps it from falling. And so that works really well. I'm happy with that. It's about as good as it's going to get. It's much better than the original ones that came up like this. I'll post a picture here if I've got one handy. They were pretty awful. Those are the original Vstrom cables, and they were fine. As you can see, I've got the tank still off here, and the airbox I was missing with some other stuff. Redoing the mount for this. It's going to mount up here. Still have yet to make a video about this guy, but it'll be coming soon. It's been a fucking odyssey to get done. This was on here when I went for a ride the other day, and because of the way I designed it, it snapped off right there about 2 miles from home after sticking around for a couple hours. So I found a weak spot, redesigned it, 3D printed it. With much more layers and a lot heavier infill, and then mounted it up here. I dropped it, hit the ground, broke in the exact same spot, so I redesigned it. We're going to have a little extra support that comes up along here, and I think that's going to keep it from being a weak spot there. And then my 3D printer quit working, so it's just one thing after another. So I decided, while I'm waiting on some parts to get my 3D printer working properly, fix some wiring. So I wired these in, ran some extensions. I'm going to run the wire in here. I've got some cable wrap that's going to go around and look real nice out up here. It's going to look good. Just got to get it done. But I got the wire extensions wired in. I got the idiot lights wired in on a rather than individual plugs. I hooked them all up into a single plug. They appear to be working well. Speedometer's giving me some issues I got to chase down, but yeah, another day, another nickel. Actually, I'm doing this for myself, but it's one thing after another, creeping ever closer to success. I always talk about how the last 10% of a build takes 90% of the time, it feels like, and this is really in the deep of that right now. But we are almost there, guys. Fix my 3D printer, reprint this, and I can mount all this. I believe I'm ready to put the tank back, the airbox and tank back on. No, I lied. I have to finish this wiring and route it in here, and then I can put the airbox in the tank. So gotta get my 3D printer fixed, get that redone, and then throw it back together, take it for a ride, send it. So that's all for now. Way too long a video to say, yeah, I got some shorter throttle cables on here, but it's a little shop update while we're at it. So we'll talk to you guys again soon, and don't miss me too bad in the meantime.